Yo, welcome back. This is Stu42 with another Minecraft episode today. So last time we're slowly building up a bunch of XP here for this thing for our great loot box extravaganza. Unfortunately, that's going to be at least a couple of episodes away now because I've got to build up that XP. I did just process a bunch of ruby and inadvertently in tier 3 over here, there's this ruby electrolyzing quest, which we've managed to do. In fact, let's throw that across. Now today what I thought I might do is something a little bit more, I don't know, fun rather than just progression. Let me see, ruby dust should go in here. Just got red garnet dust, and this should give us oxygen and chrome and aluminium. Excellent. Cool. So what I was going to do is we'll grab ourselves our carpenter. We're going to need to grab some cable and stuff. I'm going to finally get around to building some train track stuff. So what I wanted to do was, well, we want to set the carpenter up over here because we want to get creosote into it. So this here's got creosote oil in it, so we can throw the carpenter here. We'll have it permanently set up as a way to make the railway ties. And then what I'm planning on doing, whoops, not tank, track. So we need to make a bunch of track. We can't make any of the high speed stuff yet because that needs stuff like titanium, and I think one of the other ones needs like tungsten steel, and yeah, it just gets a bit hard to make those. But we can make regular old tracks, and these are assembler, standard rail, wooden rail bed. Wooden rail bed needs wooden ties. Wooden ties, of course, needs some creosote. It's cheaper, or cheapest in the carpenter with some slabs, so that's why we're going to do that. Now let's just grab some stuff. What do we need? We need, what am I looking for? I need the cable, 4x tin cable, that will do. And we need some piping. Now I had a bunch of wooden pipe. The small wooden pipe, there it is, right in front of my face, staring at me. And we're going to need the wire cutters, we're going to need that. That's probably all we need. Actually. Now I'm planning on making quite a bit of railway tracks around the place. To start with, it's not going to work as well because we obviously need a chunk loader on the car itself, just because it's going to be going for quite a while, or quite a distance away. So that is 4x cable, yes. We can make sure that is hooked up, throw that on there, and then grab that. Man, this new way of doing cables is kind of cool, but at the same time kind of tedious. So this should now give us a bunch of creosote. Fantastic. Now we're going to want to use our cutter for, okay, so let's just make sure, yep, let's just make a ton of those. We're going to need to make sure there's power on the, you know what, let's just do it from the top. We can do it from the top. We can get, there we go, connected. I'll have to come back and do a, there we go, a bunch of creosote. How is our creosote doing? Yeah, we're running a bit low. Steve's cart's up the top. I accidentally ran it out of diamonds to repair the cutting head. And so up in our, yeah, look, 0. So it still hasn't recovered from that. There is 0 wood in there, so it's furiously trying to make some and catch up. It will get there. It does harvest trees slightly faster than what the coke ovens use. Let's just go around here. Now we want wooden railbed ties. Cool. So we need 3 of these. So if we put 30 in there to begin with, that should give us 10 ties. Actually, we want more than that. We want 12, because 12 ties is going to make us like this. This is going to make what's that, only 3 wooden rail beds. So we are going to need a lot more of this. Now, each one of these rail beds does actually make, in an assembler, 32 tracks, which is pretty good. We are going to need standard rails, which are, yeah, a bunch of bending machine stuff with some rods. Various rods give you better yields, so obviously titanium is the best. Stainless steel, yeah, not too bad either. Steel rod, 3 steel to 4 rail, not too bad. Tungsten steel, wow, tungsten steel is really good. Yeah, we can't do that one. Wrought iron, 6 to 5. So it looks like steel is probably going to be, yeah, aluminium not so good at all. Bronze, not so good. Yeah, so it looks like steel's going to be good. So we're going to have to make a bunch of that stuff as well. Now, in the interests of keeping this, we're going to need a lot more. So, you might have seen Kat on the server. Kat sometimes helps me with bits and pieces. She often makes things look a lot prettier than I can make them. But she also did this over here, which is to dig out a nice big long tunnel. So this tunnel, we've decided we're going to have a railway line coming through here. Now, if we go on the map, this pops out down over here where this bit is here. And one of the things we've got over here is we've got oil here, another oil here, and I think some oil up here as well. Or maybe it's just those 3. Anyway, there's a lot of oil down there. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a railway line that goes down there. We're going to put an oil well on top of these oil things. And then we're going to drag the oil back via the train into here. And then back in here somewhere, I'm going to need to make myself another one of these steel tanks. Probably, yeah, I don't know where I'm going to put it. I might put it out here and make a slightly bigger one just so that we can have like a 5x5 to hold a bunch of oil, because we are going to want to pipe the oil from here over to our refinery. And what we'll do is we'll take these 2 centrifuges off and we'll run oil straight into the 2 distilleries, and then we should have our nice sort of diesel on tap, as long as we keep it provided with oil. So anyway, I will run away. As I do, I will go and make a bunch of ties, a bunch of railway tracks, and then we'll see what we can do about getting our first train running down there. Of course, as I said, we'll have to be a passenger on it to begin with, just to make sure that all the chunks load when we go down there. But it's a start, and it's something I've been wanting to do for a long time. So I'll see you back here in just a moment. So I just thought I would pop back very briefly. I've discovered that there is, under the transportation tab, there was this quest that we were doing. Well, I got onto this a little while ago, but there's 384 tracks, 96 booster tracks, and 2 buffer stop tracks to make here as well. And I figured, since I've just made a whole pile of tracks, 384 to be precise, I might as well make the booster tracks and the buffer stop tracks as well and finish off this quest. So I made some more standard rails. We've got some electrum rods here. I am going to need to, unfortunately, clear that out of there, and we're going to need some redstone, because we should be able to throw some of that in there. How much does that give us? 144. Now this should make advanced rail. So we need 3 standard rails, 3 electrum rods, and wow, a lot of molten redstone. So we're going to need quite a bit more. And that's going to take a while to make, but hopefully we'll be able to do 16. So we're going to need to make this 6 times over, so 36 advanced rails. We're going to get 8 of these every time, so what's that? We're going to need at least 5 of these, so at least 15 rods and 15 standard rails. We've got plenty of both, so we should be able to make those. Now the other thing that I am doing along the way is we're just getting some more steel plates. And they are finishing up. And then over here, actually, I do have my screwdriver. We're going to start making another steel tank. So I'm going to sit the tank in here. So I'm sitting it here because we can actually get a 5x5 across here relatively easily, nicely positioned to go into the distillery over there, or the 2 distilleries rather. And then we just need to make sure we can make some more of these steel tank walls. circuit number 1. No, it's number 6. Do I have a number 1? Programmed 11. Pretty sure I have a circuit number 1. There we go. Instead of changing these circuits all the time, I've decided to just keep bits of them around. So we've got circuit 1, 64 steel plates in the assembling machine, and once again that is not going for me. Configuration 1, steel plates, 64 EU. Right, so it's probably the same thing as last time. I've probably turned it off with the mallet, or the cabling isn't connected underneath again, although we did that last time. So no, I just thought I would pop back and say that's where we're at with these particular things. We're gonna need, actually that's enough of those, and there are the wooden ties. So if we put the ties and the rails, actually I think we need redstone for this as well. Track, booster track. Yeah, quite a lot of redstone again, and not quite enough in there, so let's just grab a bunch of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 should probably, you know what, let's put the 6th one in there, because that'll make some of that. And then we've just got to make ourselves 2 of the ending tracks, which are buffer stop tracks, they're called. Block of steel, some more rail beds, some more screws, some more standard rails, and a signal lamp. Ooh, the signal lamp is going to be interesting. We're going to need green, so mixer with glowstone, yellow with glowstone. Alright, so that's actually not too bad to make. So we're going to make a bunch of those as well, and then just random panes by the looks of it. Alright, so I'll be back. I'll make a bunch of those signals. We'll get the rest of this tank made up, and hopefully the rest of these tracks made up. And then hopefully we'll be able to start at least completing the railway so that we can at least hop on and go for a ride before the end of the episode. So I'll see you back here once again in just a bit. So here we have it. We have our tank set up ready for some oil. There's an extra 1 block gap all the way around it so that we can make it a 5x5 if we find we have too much oil. But for now, this is sort of the standard size I'm building, and it seems to be pretty good so far. Now in here, black steel bolts. I did make some black steel. Now, black steel wasn't too difficult to make. Basically, you go for, it's in a blast furnace that you have to smelt it, but the dust is basically, yeah, there. So 1 nickel, 3 steel, and this black bronze dust. Black bronze being pretty easy as well, just a gold, silver, and 3 copper. And then, yeah, you got yourself some black steel. So we've got our black steel bolt. We've got all of these things here. I don't think we actually need the bolt for anything. It's just, yeah, it's just so that we can complete the quest. What do we want? We want a loot bag. Now we've got heaps of rail beds. Standard rails are pretty easy to make. 128 tracks. You know what? Let's just go for the loot bag. Still building up to that loot bag episode. Oh, it didn't open anything else. That was kind of annoying. I was sort of hoping it would open something awesome. But never mind. So we've got some of those to put in there. We've got some of these to put up there. And then we're basically ready to start laying the track. Oh, it consumed the bolt. So we're basically ready to start putting the track down. Now we have, I made a tank cart and a mine cart, so we'll just grab the mine cart for now. We can get a locomotive engine for this as well. There we go, the crowbar. We can get a locomotive engine, but I don't, that might have to be a separate episode. Steam locomotive, electric locomotive. So the steam one's probably the one we're going to make for this. A mine cart, a chest cart, high pressure boiler, some high pressure tanks and some stuff. Whistle pitch. So yes, it is a Railcraft thing, so we can potentially use that, but let's have a look first of all at regular minecarts. Now, I have not done minecarts at all. I don't think I've even done vanilla minecarts. Obviously, I've seen them around. You know, I know that you can hop in them. Yeah, like that. And you can ride it by hopping out. Alright, so if we if we do that, and let's have a look, because I have really no idea about these booster track things. So if we hop in, let's right click, and we go this way, does the booster track do anything? Nope. Well, this just rolls now. Well, this is kind of handy way of putting down the tracks. So we can speed up, but we can't slow down. And you have to push the key multiple times to get it to work. So I'm wondering if, I think those booster tracks actually need to have a redstone current or something. Hey, get out. Yeah, so that's cool. So we'll need to make these booster tracks at some point. We can left click that, I think, to pop it off. Yep. So we'll go and get some redstone, or a lever even. A lever's probably good enough. You know what? What happens if we hop in this and just go this way? It sort of goes fast, but sort of doesn't. Might as well put some track down while we're going. Oh, missed the spot, that's alright. Alright, so here we go. This track coming up is dunk. Right, so it just sort of stops it. And what happens when we hop off the end? And pop off the cart. Cool. So this track's going to come in and go back. So I'm going to have one return, or one track going one way, one track coming the other way. I know I could share the track and start using switching and stuff, but I don't really want to do that. And then over here we'll have, I guess, our unloading. Let's grab some levers first and see. So it's interesting. Trains have been, you know, one of those things I've really wanted to do in Minecraft for a long time, and I've just never done them. I've made Railcraft tanks. I've been playing this game for, well, years now, and I just never have gotten around to actually playing around with these. So if we have a track there, so I don't even know. I haven't done any lookup, but that's done something. So what happens if we hop in the minecart now? Woohoo! Alright, so boost the track. Oof. Alright, so if we want to boost the track let's turn the chunk boundaries on, because that may tell us where we want the booster tracks. So there we go, just inside. Now actually this is going to be the return. Ah, damn it. My pick is just too strong now. So that's going to be the one. So one on this side of the chunk. So if we go, say, one chunk, and two chunks, and then put another one of those, and then go one and two, another one of those, and one and two, and put another one of these. So this is where I'm going to put these out. Every two chunks seems to me like it'll be a fairly good way of doing it. So actually I'll cut this. I'll get the rest of this track laid. We'll put one of these booster tracks every couple, and we'll at least have a system where we can go down and come back, and then we might call this episode a success, actually, just because it is going to take, like, I think there's going to be a whole episode on getting the loading and unloading of the carts done with oil, and getting the drill going and all that sort of stuff. So let me get all this fixed up, and I'll come back once we've got a loop happening, and we'll see what we can do about riding around on it. So I'll see you back here in just a sec. Alrighty, back for the final time. We have our cable, well, not cable, we've got pipe running to this tank now. I thought I would just quickly do this as well, in the final moments of this. The centrifuge I've decided to put here. I will need to... I've done it again. I've forgotten the wire cutters. So I've decided the centrifuge basically, it can run at the moment on... where are my wire cutters? There they are. So we can just grab a bunch of that. So the moment can live, sorry, on LV centrifuge, and that'll be fine for now. It only needs 5, I think it's 5 EU per tick. So not crazy, which means I can put it a little bit of a way away from the battery. We're going to make the output the top. We're going to fluid auto output. We're going to put this in. No, we're going to need to match that up. Cool. So that now pipes up, across, and into here, which means we should be able to. Actually, which back there we go. Ah, we got a battery as well we can throw in there. So let's just throw those in there. And that's not the speediest thing in the world, which is why we probably want to upgrade to the MV one. I mean, we've got MV right here, so we can easily run some MV cable across, make an MV centrifuge. The problem with it at the moment is it's pretty expensive in terms of circuits. So where are we? Basic, advanced. Yeah, we need 4 of the expensive circuits, which are, yeah, pretty nasty to make. And I will do an episode coming up on making this a bit better, because we do have within here tier 3. We do have a bunch of quests that sort of follow on from the silicon plate up here and the monocrystalline silicon. There's a whole bunch of things that are up in this area here, which should lead us to making easier circuits. Now that has had one bit of oil go. There we go. Look at that. Our first bit of oil is in there. Now this shouldn't... that's interesting. So this isn't even connected, and yet that valve is pumping oil straight out. So we're getting oil into there, and oil into there. Interesting. It's actually getting evenly split. So that was one of the things I was worried about. I was worried about whether the oil was going to be split evenly across these or not. And we'll have, yeah, we got 16 in there, 36 in there, 6 hydrogen cells, pretty good. 2 there. Yep. That should be fine. So what we'll do is we'll process a whole bunch of our oil sands ore now, and that'll flow through and hopefully bank up in here. Now, the other bit that we've been working on this whole time, we have our track. So what I'm planning on doing is over here we will have the little disembarking unloader thing. The unloader needs to go underneath, so either we'll raise the track up or we'll put the unloader underneath, and that'll go up into this pipe as well and just feed oil into there with a bit of luck. Now let's just hop on here and push off, and hopefully my thing records pretty well. There we go. And it seems to be pretty well spaced with these. Like every 2 chunks it just has a bit of a push, starts to slow down, gives another push. So it should be good enough to get us all the way there. Now, I have got some extra track because we are going to need some extra track at the other end. We're going to need those as well. Maybe more booster tracks in the lever, we're not sure yet. But I've extended this out this way. Now, choo, we'll let it fall off here. Jump off and grab that. And now all we need to do is put in like that. And what we'll do is this will be where the loader will be at this end, and we'll get the mining equipment above there, which will pipe down to here. You can see just up there is the other oil rig. Let me zoom my map in. Yeah, I've blocked it off because it did flow all the way down this hill, and I wanted to blocked it off. There isn't actually another one over there. So there's 1, 2 here, and if we check on the map, there is another one out over here, as well as this one Oh no, that's the one I'm looking at. Okay, this one is not an oil here. This is some basalt that's under there. So I did think there were 3, but there aren't. There's only these 2. But it's a short hop across to get another one over there. There's also another one down over here. I'm not sure what that is. Some black there as well. Yeah, that's a little hut. Looks like some oil in there, some more oil in there. So once we get a chunk loader on the cart, we should be pretty good to feed from a few oil wells down over this direction. Now let's just get going back again. So we might need another booster rail there. Or maybe just along here somewhere. Maybe just in here. Before we get back to these proper boosters. And then zing. Awesome, I'm back. So as I said, we're not gonna be able to do much until we can build a chunk loader cart, but for now, as long as we ride in the cart, we've got a tank cart as well that we can put behind, and we'll do that, well, probably next episode actually. We'll do some bits on the mining well, and see if we can get this thing automated, or at least automated with a person in there, because we are going to need. Now if I hop off and go here, I'll stop it. Dunk. Awesome, that works really, really well. Now hopefully we'll be able to do well with the loading and unloading. Anyway, I think that is a good place to stop this episode. So as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.